Hey, let's get this fucker started.
What's up?
So you're saying the game starts, today's Wednesday, 10:15 a.m. So it starts on Friday morning.
Yes.
You're saying we're playing, it's Canada versus Spain.
Spain, yeah, man.
And we're going to be live. And we're starting out at
Canada
what time?
versus France, bro.
France. My bad, everybody.
Frame the France, bro.
The Franks. Okay, so when do the Canucks play the Franks?
All right, so they play at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. So we will be on here, which is 8:30 Central, and you guys can do the math on that. I'm not going to do the math on wherever.
8:30 in Oklahoma time.
What's up, Corey? What's up, George?
Let's do it, guys. 8:30 Friday morning. We're going to be watching Shea and Dort put their balls all over France.
Yeah, man. I wish Usman Jang was playing in this game, but I totally understand that he got his ass hurt. So, we'll move on. So we're working up the rest of the game and the schedule for FIBA, which games that we're going to be watching. But, I mean, there's games that I'm circling that are going to be super fucking early for Mark and I, that it's, Australia versus Germany. Man, I'm so pumped up about that game. So, kind of going to see what that's going to happen there. So 4:30 in the morning Eastern for that one. On that is on Sunday. So we'll find out if we'll wake up for that one or not.
Yeah, dude.
Jared, yeah.
Some of these really, really early ones don't make any sense. But some of them do. And we're going to be at the ones that make sense, guys. You best believe that.
Yeah, dude. The Germany, I think that the hardest bracket for sure is going to be the Australian Germany bracket.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a tough up and down bracket. It'll be interesting to see. So I'm pulling up the brackets as I speak right now because I think it's interesting that
I know so little about FIBA, but I'm starting to kind of figure out which NBA players are playing for which teams.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them are loaded. Some of them, like seriously, like France is going to be loaded. Canada's loaded. Australia's loaded. Those are my two favorite teams to talk about, Canada and Australia. But this is an exciting time, dude. And I'm like, we've never had early morning games, so I'm excited to see who's up that early on a Friday.
Yeah, dude. And you know what? We've been unable to connect with a lot of our Australian listeners because of how early we wake up or do the show and stuff. But when Australia's playing against Germany and these other teams at 4:00 in the morning, they'll be up for sure. So and definitely I know that Too Cool and some of you guys like that are hardcore fans that live in Australia be watching every single game no matter the timing. So I'm pretty stoked about that.
Fuck yeah. Shout out to the crazy fans out there, man. Love it. Getting up early, Dave. You were talking about live streaming maybe a game that, or like, chilling at 4:30 a.m. Yeah, so we'll see how that rolls out. But
I have to make a different place in my house to make sure I don't make up any noise. I might have to go into, like, I don't know, a section of the basement I haven't been in a while. They call it the tent.
The tent. Who remembers the tent?
The early days of YouTube, man. I had this area in my house that was so separated from everything, you never heard anything. But the problem was an unfurnished part of our basement. So I just put up this tent around it. Essentially, it was just a bunch of curtains. Check it out if you guys don't believe me. It's pretty baller. The acoustics rocked in it. It was nice.
So much fun. I miss those days. Miss the tent days.
All
right. So
Bill Ford, yes.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna talk a little bit about some of the stuff that we obviously talk about every time about getting pumped up. Last time we talked about Coach Daigneault, leading ESPN for preseason Coach of the Year, expert voting or whatever they do there.
Also, with that being said, the Thunder are expected to make the biggest jump, are predicted to be the biggest jump in wins this next year in the entire NBA.
Really?
Yeah.
What was that predicted to be?
All right, so hold on one second. I'm going to pull that up because...
Beanbag chair, Dave. That's what you need.
Yes, dude. All right, so the prediction of the Oklahoma City Thunder being... Oh, man, what was that? All right, man, you're going to have to keep talking while I'm looking because I'm going to sound like an idiot here.
All right, so the Thunder's odds of improving are immense. And we're talking about a lot about Shea.
Yeah.
And FIBA coming up. I think you can make an argument that his move for MVP starts in 2 days.
Yes.
In the morning in 2 days, bro.
Absolutely.
I really believe it. I think when people look back and they say, when did Shea put the NBA on notice?
Yeah.
Well, FIBA is a great place to start.
Yeah. And you're right. I can't find that article, but I will find it and throw it up there because I think it was 58 votes is what the Oklahoma City Thunder received out of the 100 votes that they were given, that Oklahoma City Thunder would have the most additional wins. So, as much as I want to say we're the only people now that have been saying this, we're not anymore. The experts are coming out and they're starting to say it, which is starting that hype train again. Here we are talking about the hype train, because the reality is that that's where we're at. I mean, we've been talking about how good this team is going to be since the draft. Before the draft, we've been talking like 50 wins, and then all of a sudden everybody's like, well, you know what? I can see that now. But it's taken a long time to even the experts to start recognizing that if they're predicting the Oklahoma City Thunder is going to have the most, wins, compared to what they had last year, like the most
improvement.
Yeah, improvement in wins out of any team, then you have to sit there and say, like, what are they thinking? Like 10 wins, 12 wins? Like, that's the minimum of what it is, because all the other teams that are going to have an improvement are going to have a 7 to 10 win improvement. So if they're thinking 10 to 12 in win improvement, then again, we're talking the same exact stuff when we're talking the 53 win season. And
man, it reminds me of like when we were in the beginning of our rebuild, and people like Kevin O'Connor and Bill Simmons were sitting around talking about what the Thunder needed to do.
Sure.
And how they felt bad for Shea and how Shea's prime was going to be wasted with the Thunder going into this like long-term tank and all this stuff.
The
right?
delusional tank.
And he's still about to enter his prime. Like he's entering his prime. Maybe last year he entered it, you could argue. And we're suddenly 40 wins and expected to have the biggest improvement. Like,
yeah,
what an amazing opportunity. That's why when we look back at the last 2 years, previous 2 years where we didn't make the playoffs, we don't look at it and say, oh, that was disgusting basketball. We saw a player go from being a second-year player to all NBA first team. Like,
sure.
How many times do you get to say you saw that? Now, the Thunder seems actually it happens every, a couple times every decade,
Sure.
which is fair. Like some teams, though, they see it happen one time every 25 years.
Oh yeah, man. And you got to look at it like with Shea is that if all we had was Shea and that's it, and there was a team built around Shea and we had a bunch of really good role players, then I think we'd be sitting in a position that we could win 40 games next year. All right. Now, this is what's cool about this team. We're the team without Shea that we currently have right now. I think the team that we currently have without Shea could win 40 games. Because I think they would learn how to have other pieces that were, profitable. But the whole point about that is that, like, if you think about that and you understand, like, what it means that you have a player as good as Shea, that automatically means that you get 40 wins in a season, And then you have players that are around Shea that if Shea wasn't there, they could get 40 wins. Like, to me, like, that's a team. Like, people can say anything else they want about this team and, blah, 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 blah. Well, if they didn't have Shea, they wouldn't have the star power. I'm sorry. I disagree, because we would lean more heavily on J-Dub, and J-Dub would step up, and we'd lean more heavily on Josh Giddey. We lean more heavily on Chet.
So let's talk about it. Let's remove Shea from the equation.
All right,
let's
man,
say the team didn't have Shea, because it sounds like you think Shea with Shea's good enough to get a team to 35 to 40 wins.
Yeah.
What up, Mwani? So what type of wins does this team get without Shea?
I think you're in the 35 to 40 range without Shea.
That's what I was thinking too.
And I don't think there's a way that you can argue with me otherwise, because take Shea away and you still have 14 deep players that are all ready to play, that are all ready to do different things. And you would just be leaning more heavily on Isaiah Joe for more shots. Again, Josh Giddey for more shots, J-Dub more shots, Chet's more shots. So I still think that this team could win, 35 to 40 wins without Shea. And I think that there's going to be a time over the next 5 years that Shea's going to get injured, and we're going to have to start the season without Shea, maybe a significant time without Shea. And then we'll be able to see how good this team is truly without Shea. And again, this team's differently, and it's different built. You've got different structures of it. You've got different positions that you can run any of the guys in. It's a different, drafted team and put together team, unlike anything we've seen before. And that's why it's like, everybody's starting to recognize it. I mean, ESPN people are like, yeah, I think the Thunder are going to win 50 plus games this year. And it's like, whoa, like how many times in the last 5 years, let's just say 7 years, has ESPN projected us to win more wins than what we thought? Like, they always are lowballing our wins. Always. Like, not just significantly, but like 5 to 7 to 8 wins. Like, I think they projected us to win 22 wins with Chris Paul on the team.
Yeah, it was crazy.
So that's my point, is that, like, if we're looking at that and we're saying the NBA and ESPN is notoriously like lowballed our win total, and we're saying 53 wins, and the NBA is saying yeah, or ESPN saying like 50, yeah, and they notorious lowballed us. What are we saying now? Are we saying that this team could win more? Because if ESPN's yet again lowballing us, or is ESPN correct in this, and finally they're actually waking up and getting their heads out of their asses? Like, again, that's what it's starting to play with me, is like, why is ESPN starting to agree with us for a second here? This shouldn't be happening yet.
Man. Thinking about that team without Shea, so you would end up with, Giddy being more predominantly, but not really. I think he'd pretty much have the same role. J-Dub would get a few more shots, but I think he'd pretty much have the same role. Chat will pretty much have the same role. Like, in the end, that's the interesting thing about this team, is like the players don't really take away from each other. Like, no. I can't really imagine. I mean, who would get more playing time if Shea was on a different team? Like, where would that come from? Would it be Trey Mann? Would it be
Isaiah Joe? I think Isaiah Joe has
Isaiah Joe.
Yeah, he has the shot mentality to consistently take a lot of shots out there. I think you would see Isaiah Joe out there a lot. I think you would see a Jay Will out there a lot, and it would be more of a revolving door. And like I said, we're going to have a time in Shea's career where we're going to have a significant amount of time. I mean, there's just no player in the NBA can have a 15-year career, 20-year career without missing at least 1 year, half a year. So
and then depth upon depth upon depth.
Yeah, dude.
That's what it's all about.
Dude, man.
So Lindy Waters got signed to a 2-way deal again.
And Olivia Sarr is back,
also?
Bro. Yeah, man. He's back too. Yeah.
Okay.
So the recruiting for his brother has begun. Full force, bro.
Future number 1 pick.
I don't know if he's going to be a future number 1 pick, but I do think he's going to be a top 5 pick in the future for sure. And bye-bye, Ty. Bye-bye, Tai. I like that.
Dude, I'm excited about Lindy Waters. I feel like I was bummed. It was like one of those things when we let him go. You did say it, and I was just like, I don't know. I felt like,
listen, when the moment I knew he was going to be back is when you told me we were watching a game. You're like, I think that's Lindy Waters with the team, and it was a summer league.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it was Lindy Waters, and I was like, bro, he's not going to our summer. And this is after they told him he was not going to pick up his contract. I'm like, he's not going to do that. And I was like, that's where I got excited, because when Sam Presti decided to guarantee his contract, he just gave him a couple extra $100,000. Like, he signed a contract for a few $100,000. And to me, that's what's so great about this team, is that when players get injured and all this other stuff, and we're all of a sudden able to, utilize these 3-way contracts and turn them into a full guaranteed contract, it doesn't mean that we're, sitting there and being like, oh yeah, this player is going to be here forever. We're rewarding them, because Lindy Waters is not just one of those amazing individuals for the city. He grew up in Moore, he grew up in Norman area. He is a native Oklahoman. He is what it's all about in Oklahoma, man. And I think that's what's so beautiful about having a guy like that, is he brings everybody to understand. And one of the things that Lindy Waters did this last year or 2 years ago, that he took Shea and JRE, I think it was, to up there in Lawton, I think it was, where they have the
I think it's new in Oklahoma City area, dude.
Is it new in Oklahoma City?
I do think
brought him to the museum, the Native Museum, and it's amazing, man. I mean, it truly is amazing. And I think it's one of those things where, when I lived in Lawton up there, there's a museum up there. And for me, I consistently say, like, anytime that you have an opportunity to go and understand more of what Oklahoma is. And Mark and I, we had this teacher when we were growing up. Her name was Mrs. Bonds. And Mrs. Bonds had this way of teaching Oklahoma history like nobody else's business, because I could tell you so much about it. And the way that she taught was insane. But the point is that, like, you see these guys that are part of the team and they bring Oklahoma into perspective. You know, like there was a player that we had on this last cycle, was a coach that we had on this last cycle that was in Oklahoma City during the Mirror Building bombing. You know, and Sam Presti on the team, because again, it brings everybody together. It's the community. It's not just a team and here's the community and they don't mix. That's not how it is, you know, and we see Lindy Waters always giving back. So for me, it was a big thing for the Oklahoma City Thunder to give him a 2-way contract.
Yeah, I mean, and going back to what Mwani said, like, Coach Daignault trusts Lindy Waters. And I guess for people who haven't maybe been watching To the Thunder, I know everybody listening right now has been, but a lot of people are going to start watching the Thunder when they realize this team could be a 50-win team. And they're going to be like, oh shit, I better not miss out on this, right?
Yeah.
And then they're going to see this guy sitting on the bench on a 2-way contract that Coach Daignault puts in, and he creates defensive stops. He gets in the middle of things. He's someone that he trusts, and it's like, where did he come from? And it's like, well, that's 2 years worth of trust built up. Right? Didn't he play 2 years ago, or was it just last year that he played? But I feel like he's been with the team for about 2 years.
Well, he's been for the G League for, like, I think a total of 3 years is what he's been part of the G League for. So
right, and I'm just like, it's what Sam Presti's providing. Coach Daignault is more than just like another guy on the bench. You know, he really does trust Lindy Waters. Lindy Waters is someone that he can go to in big games. He can go to him in short rotation minutes and get production, and you can go to him, you know, and ask him to start a spot and he can get production. So
absolutely, man,
it's about depth, and that's.
And what position does Lindy Waters play?
To me, he plays the 3, he plays the 2, and sometimes he can mix it up and guard the 4 and the 1.
That's my point, man. Is like, you have to have these guys on your bench. Listen, you see these other teams that have the 3-way or 2-way contracts, you know, but they have these 3-way. They have these contracts so that it's a specialized player, right? Like, he's only good at shooting. He's only good at defense, you know? But that's not where the Thunder have gone. Like, you look at Olivia Sarr even. Like, he's not just a big man that plays defense out there. No, he gets rebounds and he shoots threes and he's constantly getting up the floor, you know? And Keon Johnson, I got it right this time. I didn't call him Keyshawn.
You said Keyshawn, but you didn't get it right this time. I think it's Keontae.
Is it Keontae? I thought it was Keon. Whatever. Okay, Keontae Johnson.
I think I might have said it wrong too, but at least I'm getting closer. We're getting closer.
Let's call him Johnson. All right, Johnson.
KJ.
He's going to get the 2-way contract as well, you know, and so you have those 3 guys fighting, and I think it's going to be good for this team. It rounds it out at 18, and everybody knows 18 inches of hard cock is not something you want. So this Oklahoma City Thunder is going to be sick, bro.
There you go, guys.
I don't know, bro.
Does everybody really know that?
Thank you, Jared. Keontae. We got it, man.
Everybody really agree on that? I don't think everybody agrees on that, Dave.
What? You don't want to...
To each their own. So, with that said, guys, we're going to be at it early in the next couple of days. All schedules be damned. If you want to know when we're going to be around, we're going to be trying to be around for Team Australia, Green and Gold, the Boomers, and we're going to be watching Team Canada.
Yeah.
And
does anybody know if Poku made Serbia's team this year? I can't find any information on that right now. And if he doesn't, then I don't care. But if he did, then we will be watching some Serbia games together.
For sure, dude.
I don't know. Hey, what about Miscic? Is he playing?
I don't know.
All right, guys. See, these are the things that we need to figure out. But we're just
Poku got hurt. He made it, but got hurt. So
all right. I got one question for you, Mark. All right, before we get going anywhere. Take out J-Dub. All right, and take out the easy one here, which you got J-Dub. You got Shea. Okay, you got Chet. All right, you got Dort. Or you take out Josh Giddey too. All right, you got Dort. You've got Trey Mann. You've got Isaiah Joe. You've got Johnson. And you've got Kaysen. Who shoots a better percentage from three from that group? All right, you guys answer it too. You guys
Probably
answer
our
it too.
two rookies.
You think our two rookies are going to step up and shoot better? All right, let me ask you this. Our two rookies, let's just say they shoot.
Did you mention Joe in that group? I'm sorry.
Isaiah Joe, yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, he'll. Everybody's.
Right. Let's just say this, all right? Isaiah Joe shoots 42%. All right, let's just daydream for a second. Is that enough to be able to beat J. Will for shooting next year?
I don't know.
No. Listen, I think J. Will.
Isaiah Joe shoots a lot of volume. That's why I'd say
But I think Isaiah Joe will be our best percentage three-point shooter next year. I think he shoots 43% from three-point. I think he's going to shock the world. I think there's a reason why you see Chet and J. Will always hanging out. There's a reason why Josh Giddey and J. Will are always hanging out. Like there's a connection with J. Will and everybody. And you know it better than anybody is when you like a player and you have a connection with a player, what do you constantly do with that player? You know where they're at all times on the floor. And if J. Will is in that corner and he's just being left open, you know these guys are going to be finding him. So I do think that J. Will is going to seriously be putting up some 40-plus percentage in three-point range. And I think because of the way that Isaiah shoots, like you said, volume, I think J. Will has a legit opportunity to be the best percentage shooter on our team.
There you go, guys. Chew on that for a little bit. Love you, and we will see you soon.
Peace out, guys.